Hi, welcome to Shelly Studio. Today I'm going to do some jelly printing. This week, or the week that I did this one, the photo prompt was forget-me-nots in a field of green with yellow in the background. So this time I thought I would start with creating the background. So I'm doing just a mix of yellow and green. Oh, I ended up adding white because the yellow seemed a little too dark. It's still too dark. In the finished piece, I think it's still too dark. Should have added more white. Anyway, so I've got my yellow and green, and it's pretty bright, and the whole thing ends up a bit neon. And yes, I'm massaging the plate here to try and lift off all the color. I got most of it. Alright, so I don't have a stencil of forget-me-nots, and these little, I don't know what they're supposed to be, but they look like they could be flowers. So I decided I would use the center of the circles as the flowers. I know they don't look anything like forget-me-nots. But that's just the jumping off point, right? So the idea was to do a few pink ones, have the pink be the focal, and then do some purpley blue flowers. I think forget-me-nots are mostly blue, right? When you think of them. I was thinking at the time they were kind of a purpley blue, so and maybe the picture I used was a purpley blue. I can't remember now. Anyway, so I'm mixing a little bit of the pink with the blue, then I end up adding a little bit of purple to the blue to get the color I want. And I'm just finger painting, and I want them to be all kind of small. I wanted the pink one to be the biggest one in the picture, so just going around and swirling those all, just getting a little bit of color on everything. And I run out, so I'll have to make me some more paint. This time I just go straight for the purple, and I make smaller little dabs, hoping to get some little teeny flowers. And actually those ones end up looking a little bit more like forget-me-nots than the bigger swirls. The really teeny ones that I do. Still ran out. I decided at some point I was going to put one on every single circle on this stencil. It's going to be a real full field of flowers. And it'll be shades of purple and blue. It'll all be good. Except for the background's too yellow. I'm just dabbing around in different places. Okay, so I decided that if I was going to print this off onto that yellow, that we needed to make sure the colors were opaque. And the way to do that, pretty sure this pink was probably opaque and I didn't need to do this. But I just wanted to make sure. So I added white to the pink, and I add some white to the blue-purple mixture. And just to make sure that the green and the yellow don't bleed through, making some funky color. So that's what I'm doing here. And remember, what's down on the plate first is what will be on the surface of the picture. So the white probably won't even be noticeable. It'll just look like a light blue. And I just go through and do it to every single one of these. Yep, I know. Tedious. So how's everyone today? I hope you're all having a good day. Hope it's a good day. I don't know what day this is going to go up. I'm just getting the footage off of my camera so that I can videotape some more. I'm still working on my 100-day project. So I've still got that every day. That's about the only crafting I've been doing for a little bit. Alright, so we lift the stencil and I decide these flowers need some branches. Or stems, I mean. So I got out my green Posca. I'm just drawing the stems in. Because that's an acrylic paint marker, right? So it should work just fine on the gel plate. In fact, it does work just fine. And I don't think it left any marks, even though, you know, my gel plate is stained totally blue. And I don't think I've ever used any alcohol inks on it. It's only been acrylic paint. Might have had some watercolor at some point. Okay, so the flowers are dry, and there are holes where the stencil is, and I thought maybe I could just dab. Do forget-me-nots have yellow stamens in the middle? I don't know, but I decided these flowers were going to have yellow centers, and so I'm just dotting around. Some of them you can see when we do the pull, and some of them you can't see anything at all. So I end up doing this on the final print as well. But I was thinking this would work. Okay, I decided I needed more leaf shapes and a different shade of green, so I've got a different shade of acrylic green paint, and I'm just putting leaf patterns in the background everywhere. And I know you can probably hardly see it, and it seems real subtle. It's also, there's going to be green behind it, because that's what's on the paper already. So it's subtle, but it'll be noticeable a little bit. Alright, so after thinking about it for a while, I realized that all those areas where the stencil was is going to show the background. So I decided to take color and fill that in. So like a darker pink to go behind the pink ones, and this blue to go behind all the bluish purple ones, and create shading. So that's why I'm doing more finger painting. Just kind of putting some shading. And I don't worry about this one being transparent, though I probably should have. If you look really close, those blue ones, the shading tends to look a little greenish, but that would have taken even more finger painting. Just about have it. Some of them looked a little transparent, so there we go. And this blue is pretty transparent. So it's all dry now. So I decided to pull it up with yellow and green. So I probably didn't need to do that background, but it was either that or use the clear matte medium. And I was thinking this way I could add a little bit more white to make it a little bit more lighter, but it's still just as bright. It's still just as bright. So I put this on. I do try to line it up so that it matches. And so there's a lot of paint on there. So I let it sit for quite a while till I thought that it was dry, and then peeled it. And there it is. It actually turned out better than I was thinking it was going to. Not my favorite, but it has potential. I might have to try it again and not think about forget-me-nots. Because these are definitely like ranunculus or something. But yeah, just putting the little yellow centers back in, and then I think that's it, I think. So let me know if you liked it. What do you think of the process? Is it interesting? Thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day.